Well, for Enterprise fans, the general chat on the Discord is filling up with folk. I see we've got a crowd tonight. It's about that time. Magma Root play-in number 1 is kicking off. We've got 3 runners here, Zyrak, Penguinator, and Phineas over on Randomania, Zilch, and Starman. Of course, here on the mic, I am Demarine2, and I am joined tonight by Leggy Starscream. Hi, Leggy.
Hi, Demi. And gosh, this is going to be an exciting one. Not only do we have 5 incredible racers, only 4 of them are going to advance straight on to the table. One of them is going to have to go and deal with the grueling battles of the second Magma Root play and race with an even bigger pool. But today, 4 of these runners are going to make it to the next round. And gosh, what a seed this is going to be.
I mean, we're going to the moon. We've got Forge as always. We've got the Giant on deck. The Wyvern spot is looking fairly friendly, and we still maybe have to chase down some music here for these players as well. So this will be real interesting. Honestly, though, with 5 runners and 4 runners advancing, I honestly don't think I'm going to see a ton of gambling tonight. Like, this is the kind of seed where it's just like, all right, let me just play it straight and not make mistakes, and everything will be okay. So this is probably going to be a little bit less exciting than the hook run, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be exciting. Like, as this runners start finishing, you're going to start seeing the pressure mount on these players. And, you know, if this is a long seed, there might be some metagaming, there might be some, oh goodness, what did I miss? If it's a short seed, you're going to see runners pushing Threemus and doing some really, really rough things to try and get through the seed as fast as possible, because you really just don't want to finish last, because, you know, this is the easy route, right? This is the true Magma route. You know, 4 out of 5, 80% chance of advancing. You want to get out of this with 1 piece.
Yeah, and I imagine that depending on the shape of the seed, if we have some runners in go mode by the time that first done comes out, we're going to see some total shifts in how people are approaching things, using that information about when the other competitors have finished or not. Looks like our runners are starting off with a bard today.
Not the greatest character on these flags, honestly. You can equip a bow, but with free characters turned on, lots of chances to replace the bard. There's a good chance that we'll see the bard take to the bench. The only way I see our runners really keeping Edward around is if we start on Darkness Crystal. Like, you see an early Darkness Crystal, you might want to keep Edward for some Edward strats.
Yeah, for those of you who are unaware, Edward's high command removes him from combat, makes anything used against him miss, which does mean that you can do some really cheeky things on a lot of bosses, including Threemus. But it looks like we're underway, and we'll see what this seed has in store for us.
It has Rosa. We love Rosa. Rosa's fantastic.
And apparently she's moonlighting as a pirate with that hook.
Yar.
Yar, I be casting Cure 4.
Look, it's a good spell. What do you want?
Nothing else. Maybe a berserk every now and again, but, you know.
So yeah, but our runners, they get one good thing out of this and one not so great thing about this. The hook route can be really devastatingly difficult, depending on what bosses are there. Rose at least hits pretty hard, you know, can equip bows, and command is very good against a lot of bosses. So yeah, always happy to see Rosa.
Yeah, it does solve the question of, is there a white mage in the seed? Yes. Which is always one of the big questions. Healing is super important in some of the longer drawn-out boss fights. And especially on the big man himself. And Penguinator goes and checks Mist Cave, and was that the encounter I thought it was?
Yeah, that was the Gauntlet. So Gauntlet's out of play because those were some tiny worms there. Phineas checks the Watery Pass. There's a Life Staff there, and there's a Porum, which is not terribly exciting once we have a Rosa in play. Life Staff incredibly exciting though, so that's a great start.
Indeed. It looks like Phineas is coming around the backside, finds a samurai armor and nothing else. That Sparse 60 really showing the lack of treasure that certain places can get depending on how the random empty boxes roll.
Yeah, the under the waterfall is also 3 empty boxes, so all we get out of the back of the front side here is just an elven bow to go with our Porum. So not very exciting. Damsian looking. Oh, we've got some Hanzo steel. There's a Murasame. It's either a big pile of money or a big stick if we find an edge, and a box of wine.
Yeah, also a change rod, which will be nice for any black mages we find at this point.
Zyrak gives us a check here, and we've got Kane in the bed. So if we see a Sand Ruby, there might be a grab of Kane there. There's an Ice Brand there in Damsine as well. Penguinator gives us the other boss check. Still no Mist Dragon. Bails out immediately, and then is going to go and do his looting and grab this character at the top when they release the Hovercraft, because we do already have the hook. There's our Black Mage. There's Palom.
All right, so we've got our magic on lock. Now we just need to find some people who can hit things with, steel, fists, hammers.
Well, I mean, the big thing is that Infinius also skipped the Porum, but Porum would have given him access to Twin Magic to maybe burn through the early game a little bit. Flare hits decently hard. Like, it'll hit for around 400 to 500 on a single target, which isn't terribly bad, honestly, at this point for, torching through, like, Antlion Cave, the hop spot if you want the character. Even, like, defensive football, it's pretty great.
Yeah. We are getting our look into Mysidia now. With the 2 free characters, there are 2 characters here. In vanilla, it's the twins, but we see an old man and a punch mage. Infinius resets out of it, probably wanting to come back for those characters later.
Yeah, maybe that's the kind of thing where it's like if we get a Darkness Crystal fairly early, it's nice to know that you have access to both a Tella and a Yang there. Allowing you to set up some neat slingshots and some nice things to actually get Yang online. Penguinator takes Tella and bails on Yang there, so does add the Sage to his party. Tella's stock has risen greatly in this tournament, honestly, and will continue to be on the rise through the table stage most likely. So expect to see a lot of people to be very happy to see Tella. But if you want some sheer power, we got a Murasame, right?
Yeah, and that's an edge on Mount Ordeals. Edge being, of all the characters, the single most amount of power you can get early in this particular flag set. He comes at level 25. He has a really nice AoE with Flame, and just does a boatload of physical damage that can 1 or 2 shot a lot of the early bosses.
Yeah, also, if you can find a full moon or a boomerang, you can back row glitch him easily, which helps with, if we're stuck on the hook route, we don't see a magma key. That could be real good for all of our runners, and it's likely with Tella in party that all of our runners are going to get that edge pretty soon. Again, also that Murasame that we have is now available for use, so we do have a real strong physical hitter as well, which is fantastic. Penguinator's gonna go off the beaten path a little bit here, though. He's got his Sage, but he wants to do a little bit of higher tier looting, so he's going to go into Cave Eblin here instead. Immediately picks up a Stardust Rod, so good on him.
Yeah, looks like Zyrak is picking up his Mysidia characters as well. Takes the old man over the punch mage.
Coffins and Silkwebs here, so Coffins will help us out on certain bosses. Also, Mute Bells will help us out if we have to, moon grind, potentially.
Yeah, and Mute Bells can cheese the Baron Guards. Finds a full moon for sale, which will be nice for Infinius when he finds out, or Penguinator might want to keep that in the back of his mind for if and when he goes up the mountain.
Absolutely. So we've got Zyrak here who's about to hit the mountain as well, and going to find that edge right now. Penguinator is doing some deeper looting, and Infinius gives us the first look at a boss that we're going to actually fight. Bottom of Antlion Cave has... Oh, hi, Wyvern. How are you today? Oh, you're very slow. I understand.
Yeah, having that edge in the middle spot is allowing... Basically means that Wyvern is going to be very slow because this is a very slow spot, and Edge, the ninja, is very fast. Over on Penguinator's side, I think we have everyone's favorite Vanilla Edge.
double edge. Very nice. And of course, Phineas picks up the adamant stone here, so we do have half a forge already, which I think is very exciting because it may take Giant of Babel or the Harp Chase out of people's minds here, which will be real nice. Of course, Porum gets benched immediately because we have a Rosa. And Edge Online is a great thing. Zyrak, of course, took his Edge and went, well, Edge can climb ordeals. I want to get this over with. I'm already here. Let me see that first boss. It's free as heck. It's Bahamut time.
Indeed, and some other quick updates. Earlier, a runner checked up Mount Hobbs, found Odin locked in Mortal Kombat with a Sid, which will be nice if our runners want to grab that for an agility anchor. We see it on Infidious' side as well. And the boss who was taking care of everyone's favorite Vanilla Edge was a shiny.
We know it's not Wyvern. We've already seen Wyvern, so that's off the table. At that 23,000 hit point spot, Ogopogo can be pretty bad. The rest of the bosses aren't so bad. The rest of the bosses have ways that we can cheese them probably, so we'll see.
Indeed.
Now Penguinator really wants that full moon now that he has an edge. He's like, yeah, hang on, let me sell some stuff. I need this.
Did also pick up a Dwarf Axe, which can be used to back row a lot of other characters, but is selling it for the full moon.
Which is going to look really, really smart when he climbs ordeals and finds second edge and realize that this is the, this is edge. This is just edge on edge on edge here.
Yeah, Zyrak does find a turtle up the mountain as well. I think this is the back attack spot. So already on to his second boss there.
Yeah, and Edge is doing enough damage that it's not really a great concern here. So he's just gonna rip through this pretty quickly, honestly. We've got a bit of a dangerous boss here at Defense of the Bull because it's Volvalis. However, with that Murasame in hand, Edge can hit. Aim can also hit this boss here, so we do have enough ways of dealing out some damage. So it's going to be slow and a bit concerning, but not terrible.
Indeed. And it looks like Penguinator with the little Evelyn Cave out of the way is now going, okay, I'm going to go take care of Antlion, get this seed actually underway.
Yeah, it's real interesting kind of seeing that all of our runners have really diverged rapidly. You know, Infinius seeing the edge on ordeals and saying, I don't want to do this, versus Cyrac with a Rosa, now an edge, and it's just like, yeah, I can just hammer this out. Like, most boss layouts aren't going to be a problem anymore. And even if it's a boss I need to sweep, like you said, Flames Online, so it wouldn't have been a big deal if we saw, like, Dancing Dolls or, like, Hypo Guards, any of those bosses that have multiple targets that you want to take out quickly, so.
Indeed, and this final boss here in Mount Ordeals is kind of a pushover spot, but more importantly, we'll see the key item beforehand.
Top of the mountain, that's a Rat Tail, which is online, but oh, there's the Fast Darkness Crystal from the Defense of the Bull. Here we go. We got Tella. We got a Black Rock. We are one item from Go mode. Either a Harp or a Legend Sword will put us in Go mode.
And on Zyrak's side, we have the freest of free fights. We have King and Queen Evelyn going down very quickly. Penguinator clearing out Antlion Cave, getting that Adamant Rock. Of course, getting that Darkness Crystal and getting your grind online is going to be super good and super important this early, but we are not in Go mode yet. We still need to find that Legend Sword, or we need to find the Twin Harp.
Yeah, this is where things will get really interesting. We can just completely forego the hook route, though, if we really wanted to. Options abound for just grinding the moon and being done with it, and like just doing everything at level 45 plus, thereby allowing you to deposit every single boss in the trash bin in quick sequence. Zyrak with that rat tail is likely to go check it immediately, so we'll get that information. Penguinator, not terribly afraid of anything, just goes straight to Fabul here, and is ready to just get a Darkness Crystal, which would push him probably directly to Ordeals.
Yeah, it will be interesting because depending on where these last two required key items are, we'll see vastly different shapes out of the rest of the seed.
Yeah, things are going to get really interesting really quickly. Zyrak foregoing the key item check just yet is going to stop in an Antlion Cave first and get this taken care of really quickly. So he's going to get his adamant here before checking the rat tail. Penguinator, not having too terribly much trouble here. Aim is here. However, he does not have that Murasame, it looks like. So the only hitter that he has right now is Rosa. So going to need to keep her alive. Edge is just not doing the damage right now with this gear layout. So he's going to start throwing short swords because that's assured damage. That can't miss at all, which is always great.
Yeah, and of course, Invidious does have what extra stop he needs to do before he can go get that hashtag D money, which is go up the mountain to give Tella the full complement of spells, because you don't want to try and do the D machine grind until Tella knows weak.
I have never made that mistake before, at least not in a major race.
I've never made that mistake before in a major race, but that's because I've never done a D machine in a major race successfully.
But yeah, there's the Blackrock for Penguinator. Darkness Crystal in hand. He's got a Tella. He's got a Tella that needs to get online. Mega Nuke here for Zyrak. Rose is the one who survives, so gives the 1 level to Rosa here instead of Edge. So gets through just fine. Infinity is going to see this Bahamut here and go, yeah, this is pretty straightforward. I'm gonna hold A. I like that A button. A button's real good.
A button is really good, especially when you're swinging for over 1,000 from your Edge.
Just swinging from the shoes there. Penguinator's starting to sell the inventory, it looks like. Doesn't have a terribly large amount of loot here, but I think he wants... What does he want here? He wants 2 more Star Veils. Wants a handful of notices just in case. That's probably for setting up on the D Machine grind, because it'll let you do 1 damage to the Searcher.
So, Demi.
Yeah.
You're one of these runners. You've got your Darkness Crystal. You've got your online Tella. I imagine all of our runners are basically going to go and do the grind right away. What do you do next?
Since Giant of Babel completion is required, right? Like, you can do your grind, double check and see what the first... Like, you do your grind and you just grind enough to be powerful enough to do that, right? Immediately finish the Giant forward, just charge right through the last 2 bosses there with your immense levels. Excepting Penguinator just ditched Tella. Hang on a second.
Yeah, okay, this changes the shape of things, because Penguinator's going up the mountain. He has his Darkness Crystal, but that means he's not setting up for the D Machine.
With double edges, he might be setting up for Edward strats, might be assuming a quick, but you still have to get through, the Giant, right? Like, it's an interesting call. Penguinator it's a little risky, right? Penguinator's gambling that he's gonna fall into both key items, basically, I think. I'm gonna be real interested to ask him about getting rid of Tella here with the Darkness Crystal in hand.
Yeah, especially because you know that even if you decide to fade the Giant, you have to do Wyvern Spot, which is, yes, arguably easier on some metrics, but neither of those 2 things are free.
It'll be real interesting. I mean, the other thing is that on these flags, we know that Sirens are going to probably be available online, and he's probably looking at the hook route going, hook route's going to be pretty straightforward with 2 edges. I should be able to hammer through this, no problem. So maybe he's just saying, look, I'm gonna get Sirens, right? I'm gonna have access to all 5 shops. On the off chance I don't get Sirens, I might be in trouble, but he's gotta be thinking, I'm getting Sirens. Penguin Eater's a good enough runner to make this play and make it work, right?
Even if he doesn't find Sirens in shops, he has edges. He can steal them.
Yeah, like he's fine. Like, I think we might be, like, the D-Money's great and all. Like, D-Money's fantastic, but just, you know, using 2 edges to grab a bunch of Sirens and just be done with it is, you know, well within the realm of reality here.
Yeah, and especially if you aren't familiar or comfortable with the new D-Machine setup, because this tournament does have the "you can't run" flag on, which means you can't run away from any encounter, even just the generic random ones. So there is this new setup for doing the D-Machine grind, which is a little more finicky and a bit more of a time investment if you make a mistake on it. So if you're not super familiar or comfortable with it, going underground, getting Sirens, and then just beating up a bunch of yellow dragon eggs can probably be a lot faster.
Yeah, and I'm sure Penguinator is, you know, well-versed in all the grinds, right? Like, you know, you don't get to be a top runner without knowing all the tech that goes into it. So again, I suspect that this is just a play where he just knows that the hook route's going to be well within his reach. He's going to use that to get the levels and go underground first, and maybe try to power through the seed at that angle, which I think is just fine, right? Like,
yeah,
you know, it's a thing that we think is questionable, but it's really not. Like,
yeah, because if in Penguinator's mind, you know, obviously he sees the setup, he knows that a lot of runners are probably going to go, okay, I'm going to go do my D-Machine grind, and probably go do the Wyvern Altar, and then probably full clear the moon after that. So he might be going, no, I'm betting that the other key items are down here on Earth, and people might go down rabbit holes after doing their D-Machine because they have all those levels and are checking all those other things.
Absolutely. Infidious is grabbing a Soma drop in the Troya shop here, so this looks like a play to do D-Machine's going to grab these ethers too while he's here for sure. Zyra grabbed the Baron key from the Rat's Tail, so we know that that's the Rat Tail, which is fine. Like, that's the Baron key does give us more things to do before we decide to go to the moon again, with multiple edges available. We do have one already, and a second one is in play potentially if we do the hook route. So lots of power to be had. So this Baron check should be pretty academic.
Yeah, goes to check the Baron in spot first. Finds an evil wall having lunch with Sid. Not quite sure what evil wall eats, but goes down very quickly. We'll see what the second boss here is very shortly.
Second boss here is the 4 elements, which is just going to be I hit the 4 elements for 1200 damage. I hit the elements for, you know, a bunch more damage. I get Fire 2, I Berserk Edge, and I should be pretty well done here.
Yeah. With the edge and with the levels this party has at this point, this fight's going to be academic.
Yeah, it goes down immediately to the Berserk Edge, while as Penguinator picks up the Baron key. And it looks like Infidious A, not checking the Rat Tail, and B, it looks like he's pretty done with this Earth. But he's piloting the whale someplace first. A reward for the Baron in that looks like a Crystal Sword.
And that will be really, really nice if we need to bankroll things, or, you know, if we find a Cecil.
And we're probably at this juncture using it to bankroll things, but we'll see. On the flip, though, Infidious is setting up the manipulation right now here on Earth to do D-Machine. So he is going to rearrange his items, make sure he's done everything he needs to do in terms of setup, save his game, you know, flip on it, you know, save his game, hard reset, let the game reload, open it up, needs to turn on encounters, and then start counting. There's a table on the Discord that you can use to kind of see what he's doing and what he's counting out. But you take a certain number of encounters here. This is looks like an 8-step loop, and then you're good. Of course, we do have to fight these because we have can't run on, so. So while he sets it up, Crystal Sword for Penguinator. A hair behind Zyrak at this point, but, again, not doing badly at all. Sees that Sid and is going to discard that Sid. And the Lunar Spark here for Zyrak is double D Lunars, which, okay, Flame, a little bit of white magic, these are undead, should be pretty straightforward as well.
Indeed. Given they are undead, we've got a plethora of tools for handling them. Even in the worst case, you can throw healing potions.
Penguinator giving us a look at the shop here. You're gonna see a cat claw. Drain spears are for sale if you want to throw them with edge. That can be a real interesting way to do lots and lots of damage. He grabs 8.
And nothing quite exciting in the armor side of the shop.
Yeah, I mean, Drain Spears are the most cash-efficient dartable item, though. They actually have a very high attack power, but they are hamstrung by penalties to stats and very low hit rate. But when you're throwing, all it cares about is that damage number, so they end up being, like, the best bang for your buck if you're throwing darts. Second boss here for Zyrak has just Kaipo guards, so a pretty straightforward fight. Flame would kill them all, but he's just gonna probably go after the back one for better experience. And of course, Leggy, it is time for some D-Machines. What's the goal of the D-Machine grind here?
Get overwhelming power by fighting lots and lots of D-Machines and getting lots and lots of levels.
We do love lots and lots of levels.
So, how the D-Machine works is that the random encounter that Infidious is going to get into has the enemy known as the Searcher, which is one of those enemies in Final Fantasy IV that will summon another enemy to the fight to help defend it. In particular, we have manipulated it so that the Searcher we find will summon D-Machines, the Machine Dragons. And those are worth a lot of experience points. So what we'll do is we will find the Searcher, we will clear out any extra enemies that are floating around, then we'll hit it for a weak amount of damage, and hopefully queue up Tella to cast the spell weak on the D-Machine after it pops out so that it doesn't get too many turns. And by casting weak on it, we can just hit it with just about anything to take out the D-Machine and get that sweet experience. Utilize the life glitch to gain extra copies of the experience. Lather, rinse, repeat. If we do this right, the only attack that the D-Machine will do is its flame attack. I forget whether or not it's called flame or something else, but that only does percent-based HP damage.
So yeah, so you're going to see Infidious kill these off, and you're going to see him set up this grind and go through it. It'll take a bit, but it is going to be very worth it. Good use weak to take out the Beamers as well, just for speed. The character was a third edge in Baron Castle. The Trash Bin held a Protect Ring, which will be fantastic for Rosa probably in the end game, but does us no good right now. But, it'll be nice to have.
Indeed. It's decent equipment. Definitely not what either Penguinator or Zyrak are going to want to see there at the moment, but it is still some pretty nice defensive gear.
You can see that what Infidious is trying to do here, by the way, is by queuing up these life potions early, is trying to buffer queue a life potion here with the Fire 2. thereby allowing for double life glitches fairly efficiently. Thereby, this is now 3 D machine kills instead of 2, which is pretty darn exciting.
Yeah, so the life glitch works because generic enemies aren't immune to any spells. That includes spells like life, which raises characters back with a amount of HP equal to a multiple of their vitality stat. Of course, in Final Fantasy IV, all enemies have a vitality stat of 0, so when you cast life on them, they come back with 0 HP, immediately die, and you get credit for the kill again.
Yeah, I mean, his mana is going to be a little short on Hallam to do this more than a couple times, but this can speed up your grind a little bit, especially if you're using the fires to assist with the buffering here. Like, there was another double, so he's now at 6 already, pretty darn quickly. You know, it's a little tough on your turn order. You'll see him sort of looping through his turns a little bit differently, making sure he's curing his party using these Cure 2 potions, but ultimately this can still be a very turn profitable thing to do.
Indeed, and he does have enough ethers that I imagine, because he is hitting the double glitches, some of those that normally go to Tella to keep the weak spell coming out, because weak costs 25 MP. Tella only has 90 or 100 if you use the Soma drop, so you do have to keep the old man's MP pool high enough.
Yep. Chat letting us know that Penguinator grabbed another 10 stack of Drain Spears off of some of that gear they picked up. So we're going to see Drain Spears launched at some bosses down here in the hook route to make fairly quick work of them, very honestly. He's not going to grind for power overwhelming. He's not interested in doing D-machines. He just wants to get underground. Zyrak, on the other hand, wants to know if Sirens are on the moon, or if what's up there in terms of characters and things. He immediately hits the center crystal. No D-machine setup. He's just like, let's go do this. Let's go find out what's in the shop. Let's go find out what character we get from the Lunar Palace. We're going to need to come in here anyway, most likely. Taking a very different route. This is, for a seed like this, everybody's been doing some very different things, and I'm really enjoying this.
Yeah, and that's before we even factor in what's going on the other stream. I'm not watching the other stream. I've got too much to pay attention to here. But we do have 2 other runners over on twitch.tv/randomania playing this same seed, competing to not be last in this race.
Hey, Leggy.
Yeah?
You want another edge?
I mean, we have edges at home.
We also have edges on the moon, and edges in the castle, and yeah, and edges at home, I guess.
Edge on edge on edge on edge.
I can't believe the stream got edgy.
And we haven't even found a Dark Knight.
Amazing. So, Zyra cashing out the Crystal Sword here. Looks like it's going to be for Hourglasses and for some cash buffer. As Hourglass 2s are for sale here on the moon, $6,000 a piece, ends up buying a 10 stack. And it looks like, and the flight plan is going to be to Cave Bahamut, interestingly enough. We don't have Sirens, so we don't have any grind set up. First boss, completely free. Water Hag awaits. Only one dangerous boss could be the second one. Penguinator is going to get a fairly free-looking pass to the underground. Plague would make this an actual completely free pass to the underground.
Yeah, we know that it's a Lunar Sparkle, and let's see here. If it's Ogopogo, it's going to be a pain. If it's Plague, it's going to be free. We've seen D-Looters, we've seen Wyvern. I'm forgetting what. Pale Dim.
Pale Dim. I mean, here's the thing. If Penguinator sees Pale Dim, his 3 edges are just going to fill it with Drain Spears and then walk away.
Yeah. So
like, not even going to space.
Yeah, Penguinator is going to be underground in just over 30 minutes.
Yeah, it is Pale Dim, and here come the Drain Spears, everybody. 2,500 damage a shot. Will be done here in a second. Rosa's also done right now. gonna raise up Rosa just to take hits here. We don't even get counterattacks off of this. This is pretty fantastic. Yeah, you're gonna just, what you're about to see is going to be fairly fast and fairly high damage.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do a little inventorying too.
And of course, Cyrac did give us a look at the Cave Bahamut boss. It is the mother of all bombs.
Yeah, he wants no part of that. He just resets out. It looks like he's back, or he comes back to Earth. He's going to go to the hook route as well. Virus cast, 1500 damage. The darts are flying. God, Penguinator, this is beautiful. I'm into this.
Indeed. Infidious is still deep into the D-Machine grind, which seems to be going fairly well. I haven't been keeping perfect count of the D-Machines down, but slow and steady wins the race when it comes to the D-Machine. It is occasionally a little finicky, and if things go wrong and you mess up and you attack the D-Machine before you get the week off, it can prove disastrous. So, taking it safe, taking it careful through this grind can be important.
Yeah, Pale Dim, of course, again, has just too many Drain Spears stuck in him at this point in time. Dragon is downed. Penguinator's going to get underground in under 35 minutes here. On the flip side, we have, Infidious is probably wrapping up the grind here in a hot minute. I think may have done enough at this point to get through. Cyrac found the Stale Man chest and is just going to let Edge deal with this mess. Going to take whatever item is here, at least, which we did not see because Penguinator didn't want any part of that. Kind of see what's here.
Yeah, we'll see if Penguinator gives us a peek at the boss up here, and the answer is yes. That's a purple robe.
One of the brothers Millen.
We'll see whether or not it's the original flavor of the remix.
Yeah, Cyrac is going to find yet another Edge. Cyrac was not interested in Edge number 2 or Edge number 3, so I don't see him being super interested in Edge number 4 here. Infidious, of course, drops the last one, 35 levels on Palom. It looks like, that's going to get him the complement. There's some level 3 elemental spells. There's some stone. There's some fatal. There's some weak. There's some rocks. There's the Big Bang itself. 28 levels on Edge, so Edge is going to be in his mid-50s as well. Rosa, 35 levels. She's going to get the full complement as well. We'll see Cure 4 in a hot moment here. We're going to see White. It's going to be great. We're all online. Yang is going to get slingshotted, 51 levels. He's level 61. He's big flexing. He's got the full flex going at this point. 6,000 hit points. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you're Infidious, you're feeling incredible right now. You're 35 minutes in, you're already at the levels you need to take on Threemus, and you just have to find one key item.
You're looking at these bosses here in the robot and going, hi guys, how's it going? And they're going, oh god, this is atrocious, we need to run away, let's get out of here.
And then you're like, no, there is no running.
Well, except against orbs, so, they're gonna be a little bit even more mechanical than usual about it.
Indeed. Orbs is still one of the bosses that can be kind of annoying, because depending on how you do it, it is a fairly slow and grindy boss fight if you want to play safely, but it looks like the kid has queued up rocks falling, and Infidious is just going, nah, I don't care about Globe 199. I will tank it. I've got life potions for days.
I mean, also just keeping in mind that the back orb that we need to get through has 65,000 hit points at this spot. This is going to take a little bit of time. The rocks will clear the front ones, and then, you basically will take 2 Globe 199s and start over. The remedy from the defenders is heal for 6,500 a shot. It's 10%, so, this can be tough. This is a real interesting way of doing it, and I hope he has enough damage. There's also with the Yang in the back row, Yang is only going to do half damage.
Yeah. While that fight's going on, Penguinator has gone down into the Feybarch and pulls some more Hanzo Steel, but the other kind of Hanzo Steel. We get a Masamune out of the key item chest down here in the Fame Arch, and we're going to go get a peek at our bosses. That is Dark Imps, and that is the actual Rubicante boss.
We've got, that is Leg in the Ashura spot. That is Dark Imps in the Leviathan spot, which will definitely basically one-shot all of his characters. Penguineer's like, yeah, I'm good, I'm out. I know it's there at least.
Yeah, it is information.
Yeah, information of thank goodness Tella's got exits, but get out of this mess.
Yeah, it looks like Zyrak just finished taking the Mad Ogre chest on the hook route, and is going to be coming up on his bosses very shortly.
So the big problem that Infinius is having here is by using life potions to res the party members, it heals them up to, again, 5 times their vitality stat. The big problem here is that Rose has got to get a heal off before this Mazer hits, because otherwise she's just going to die. This is a little bit problematic because now the party can't get healed. So the rush down strategy is not really working for Infinius here, and he's got to take a reset.
Yeah, which is definitely unfortunate. CPU in any tough spot is very much a pain in the tuchus. And this spot in particular is the highest HP spot of the game. So,
yeah, on the flip side of the coin, Zyrak is going to get through this this Water Hag with ones and edge swings. Everyone else not terribly effective on this fight, but Tella wanted to be dead anyway. Penguinator finds Karate Man here in the first spot in the underground. Gonna try and bring back this Palom before offing the Karate Man here with one very angry edge.
The Very Angry Edge does sound like a children's book.
It sure does. And he's got Tella for warp glitching here. Warp glitch allows us to get the item out of sealed cave on these flags. So Penguinator is basically making the check of, hey, am I in go mode or not right now, off of 2 items potentially.
Yeah, and even if this fails, he's still got 2 other checks in the cards, even if he finds no other items, because you have the Sheila 1 check at Sylph Cave, and you also have the top of the tower, the keyless tower check.
He gets Tella here and immediately takes the Tella and switches out Palom for Tella here. I think he sees the writing on the wall that, again, he might get go mode and just go right up. He might get go mode here off of either Legend Sword or Twin Harp and just go right up to the Giant at that point.
Yeah. That edge swinging with the Mute Dagger, one-shotting the Asura.
And sweet dreams, and that's that for Asura. Zyrak is doing Pale Dim the route one way, which is a bunch of blinks and an angry edge here, just getting Berserk up, gonna cast some quakes, gonna try and tear through this fairly efficiently. Maybe not quite as quick as darting Drain Spears, but still very quick.
Indeed. Zyrak, I don't think Zyrak actually checked the Baron in shops, so this is like the, I would say, de facto way to get through a Pale Dim.
Yeah, this is pretty much the standard strategy. Like, you'll see a lot of runners doing this with the dead anchoring Tella to set up good agility for your edge and berserk your edge and just not worry about the slow casts.
Gets a Pan, which does give another 2 key item checks.
Yep, you can see Infinius is doing an interesting strategy now, by the way. He's blinking the attacker so that berserk swings don't hit it, thereby kind of setting up for success by, like, the berserkers now have a 50% chance of hitting the back orb, and the attacker hopefully does not die, and bluffing with Palom to get additional magic power so you can use a quake to finish the whole thing off. Package and pan total for Penguinator here. Pan check probably makes the most logical sense here at this point. Get those 2 more checks in play. Again, you gotta feel like go mode could be at any second here. So like key items first before anything else. Grabs a bunch of succubuses to try to set up for the D-Machine grind as well, potentially, as they cast Psych on no timer, which is excellent.
Yeah, Penguinator gets a package from the Dwarf King. Is opening a few more boxes up here. And we'll see whether or not this Dwarf Castle play pans out.
I see what you did there.
I'm glad.
So we've got Zyrak going to be underground about 10 minutes behind Penguinator here. When Pengu, already having finished up Dwarf Castle, touched on the Fey March and realized that it was dangerous, and then grabbed the pan and is now doing the pan check. Infinius casting this Quake for 7,400 damage. Not quite there yet, friend. Still, like, now striking the orb for, like, thousands upon thousands of damage. Ends up hitting Palom with a life a little early there. But, you know, trying to get through this with yet another Quake. Yang hitting for 3,500 damage output's real good here.
Yeah, that might have also been a mismenu. He might have been trying to bring up Tella. Penguinator gets a tower key from the Fae, which is interesting. That is another check you can make.
Yep. Penguinator is real into checking just the bottom half of tower as well. It is known as the Penguinator special. That is a thing that he does. So we'll see if that's what happens after this pan, potentially. Zyrak is hunting and pecking right now for the items. Did we see sirens? I don't think we saw sirens.
I have not seen sirens yet that I know of. But at this point, we've checked all the gated shops.
That is beautiful.
Now, of course, sirens are still very much in play. We do have the power of Edge to steal them, but our runners won't just be able to roll up and buy a stack. They'll have to do the time investment of doing a steal grind in the Tower of Babel.
So yeah, so now this is what was the intent, was there was a Star Veil on Rosa so that Nuke could be reflected onto the CPU doing 9,999 damage. And Yang is still up there just kind of doing his thing, just hammering away, and down goes Orb. CPU down, 178,000 experience points.
Unfortunately, Sheila only has a Luca key and a Pinktail for us, neither of which are checks at this point because the Warp Glitch gave us the Luca key item, and the Pigtail only ever holds gear.
Put Pengu on 10 key items, though, so, like, snagging a bunch of Sirens in Tower makes a ton of sense all of a sudden, because now you just do eggs for 68 grand a pop, and that's how you can get your experience points fairly quickly here. So there's a ton of key items here on Earth. Infinius does make a safety save. Probably a good idea.
I never hate taking the extra save, especially in a race like this where, again, you're just trying not to get last. And of the runners we have on stream, Infinius is going to be by far the first runner to get an objective on the board.
I mean, also, like, let's be real, for a hot minute, that orb fight took, like, a solid 10 minutes. We're not here for that.
Yeah, you don't want to repeat that. Finds an Octomammoth in the actual orb spot.
Yeah, so we just need to sort of lay into this a little bit. We've got enough health to soak the hits, so we just want to start hitting Octomom with some fast spells in order to stop him from hitting us, and also Nuke is a good spell last I checked.
Indeed. Zyrak trying to get the Hourglass off on the Dark Imps. Unfortunately, gets bodied by the physical attacks that are coming out, hitting anyone who had an Hourglass queued up.
Yeah, you're going to throw multiple Hourglasses here too, just because you need to get one of them off. It doesn't matter who hits it, as long as someone hits it. You'll lose the other Hourglasses, but, like, that's why you have 8 of them, is sort of an investment. This time, not even a concern, just Edge is like, yeah, I'm fast, I got this. And so we're going to take 3 hits and be done with this.
Yeah, and this will be our first on-stream runner to get through this fight, so it will be interesting to see what we manage to pull from these, because could be go mode.
Absolutely. On the other side, Infinius is going to complete the giant here, find a Sid. We're not taking a Sid. I don't see really a world where we add Sid to our party here, but hey, that's an objective that'll be on the board in just a moment, and that will give Infinius the giant complete with all the levels that it gives. Penguinator is going to look for sirens here in the shop down below and see if he can get his grind on that way.
Yeah, Zyrek just throws out 3 coffins, taking out the Dark Imps, getting a sizable chunk of levels on his party, and a spoon.
All right, we're in spoon mode. That doesn't mean anything, but hey.
I mean, it's yet another thing you can throw.
I mean, now you know it's there at least, which is always pretty nice, so there's that. But yeah, so Penguinator is interested in doing things on the moon potentially here, is checking the character. We know it's an edge. Infinius is probably interested in heading straight on down to the Wyvern spot and saying hi to whatever boss is there and firing off a whole bunch of spells and tactical fists. You know, with your party at level 60, the moon is your oyster, and you're going to crack it open with Yang's bare hands.
Indeed. There are still some rude bosses in play, but at a certain point, it just comes down to, okay, I have the levels. If people haven't ground yet and they're trying this, well, I've got the advantage. I have the levels, I have the tools to take on anything.
Yeah, so Infinius sees that second edge and goes, "Hey Edge, give me your gear." Takes the black belt armor and the bandana to slap it on Edge onto Yang and make Yang even more powerful. Zyrek is real interested in doing Feymarch bosses here. Looks at this leg and is like, I'm here for leg.
I approve.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you would.
Rubicante, occasionally a very rough boss, depending on where you find him. Glare will hit like a truck almost anywhere.
The big thing is you don't really want to fire off physical fight commands because you counter with fire 2, and in this spot, those fire 2s will sting a fair bit. He's going to throw the kitchen sink. It's through the spoon. He's looking at that ninja star going, I can throw this ninja star. Porum is dead. Very dead.
Throws out a quake. With the numbers I'm seeing, this fight definitely looks doable, but it's going to be rough.
Penguinator just bought 35 Drain Spears. He is now my favorite runner in the tournament. 35 Drain Spears when you absolutely positively got to get the job done with multiple edges. I just want to keep in mind at this point in time that Penguinator's count of bought Drain Spears is up at 49 now.
Yeah, and Phineas, surprising no one, is marching straight to the Crystal Sword Altar, finds an Antlion.
I mean, Antlion gonna hit real hard in this spot, and the counters aren't gonna be great either. Two swings on Palom in the back row, and Palom's in real bad shape. But, you know, Cure 4 is a good spell. Nuke, also a good spell.
Looks like Zyrek has taken out Rubicante. Unfortunately, both of the twins are down, but does get through.
Did you know that Rubicante will return?
In Final Fantasy IV-2?
I mean, that's what After Years is.
Well, there's the Magma key. So at least we know that the hook was hard required to get underground.
Rubikin's a troll. Antlion's a corpse, by the way.
As expected, when you come in at, level 62 geared to the teeth.
Maybe need to be geared to the teeth. Just comes down here, it's an Artemis bow, but he's going to take that Artemis bow and keep it because, hey, objective on the board. Light him up, knock him down, right? Do what's required. Crystal Soul Altar's down. Ribbon spot, couple floors away. Infinius is going to continue blowing up the moon here.
And yeah, all of our runners are basically just in a key item hunt now.
Yeah, we've got Penguinator at the top of the tower. Millen Z was the boss here, so he equipped a Flame Claw to that one edge. Kamikaze says Tella, because he doesn't want his Tella getting any more levels. Good night, Tella. It's been nice knowing you.
The old man has done his job and needs a nap.
That berserked up edge doing 3,000 to swing, just doing some menuing, clearing these items. Penguinator is through, easy peasy, not a problem at all. I heard Edge is a good character. Infinius shocking no one, heads straight to the Ribbon Altar, finds Baigen here. He's got Quake, he's got Nuke, he's probably gonna be fine. Lots of health on this Baigen here, but the Quake will keep the arms taken care of.
The top of the tower is only an Assassin Dagger. Definitely not what Penguinator was hoping for there, but is looking to walk it out. Probably going to go do the tower key, the super cannon spot, on his way back down.
I mean, Penguinator's looking for literally anything that would let him avoid doing Giant at this point, I'm sure. Infinius here is setting up, gonna nuke Baigen after hitting it with a bunch of physicals and try to bring Rosa back. Here's the wall. Laughter ensues here at the super cannon spot, but does the very efficient use one edge to blow up the Rosa so that only edges are alive, thereby setting up to try to get the Starveil off, which is not going to happen. But hey, no one else is going to die. You've got two edges. You can just get through this by holding A.
Indeed. And Zyrak is through the karate fight, finds out that it's Ashura here, sees the other old man, and keeps the fresh one who has 3 less levels.
Absolutely, makes good sense. Just keeping your Tele level down for anchoring purposes here. I'm going to set up to put this edge in front to finish off this Asura real quick. Baigen not having a very good day down there. Back arm still alive because that's a good way to stop a lot of the shenanigans and the paralyzations that can really bother your party, while he just swings away at the front Baigen without berserking, doing about 6,000 damage a cycle. This should be pretty well done with this Quake. This should do the job. There we are. I can math on Twitch. I promise 100,000 experience points for Infinius. Not that he needs them. More importantly, 2 checks for key items.
Indeed. Finds an Apple and Avenger, both of which are exciting in different circumstances.
Circumstances which are basically not this one.
Yeah, if we had almost any other melee character, and by almost any other, I mean specifically a Cecil or a Kane, that Avenger would be an incredible pickup. But since Infinius is already done with his grind, he's not going to take anyone else, even if he were to get, the free character Palooza.
Absolutely. Well, Zyrak is done. He's going to get his package in his pan, and just going to push on through these key items. Penguinator going to give us a look at what this tower key is going to net us here. Tower key looking very important right now. We know that the Fey March is blank. Zyrak having cleared it out for us. We know that the moon so far has been pretty blank, other than the one required spot. And now with 3 edges alive and the rest of the party dead, Penguinator's going to grab himself some sirens, like we said that he would. Give him a moment. He's got to hit some rolls here, but he's going to load up his inventory once he's got to throw out something. Oh no, his inventory is full.
sadly has a couple of different Drain Spear stacks there that could have been consolidated.
Yeah, but he just darts. He just darts a dart at himself. You can't dart yourself, so it just takes it out of his inventory. So he now has a spot to grab a pile of sirens. Infinius finds Mylan, the original, here at the White Spear altar. Not a ton of health. Hits the 4 front zombies with a quake, and is now going to make Edge angry and put his controller down, grab a drink, take a breather. He's fine. He's casting Nuke too, I guess. I mean, 9,000 damage is hard to pass up.
Yeah, like, when in doubt, shove the bosses in the microwave.
I mean, the faster you can microwave a boss, like casting White here takes Rosa out of the queue as well. It's not that it matters. And Mylan original flavor is now Mylan beef jerky.
That's crystal armor, and not what Infidious wants. Instantly resets out of it.
Penguinator feels that he's got enough sirens to do what needs doing, so he just throws yet another Drain Spear, and I guess we're going to see some Drain Spears flying out at... we're probably going to see some Drain Spears getting hurled out at some dragons in a moment here with those sirens. Zarek chasing the pan. We know that this doesn't lead to terribly much, but he's going to do it anyway.
We're going to go see who's down here at the Ogopogo altar. Those are some dancing dolls.
Does not have I don't think he bought an hourglass. I don't think he checked any shops, and he was terribly uninterested, so it does not have the ability to stop the back dolls. Tower key leads to Earth Crystal. Are we going to continue delaying here? That's a spicy check right there.
Yeah, it does open up the treasury, which potentially could be important depending on what we find there. But
it is unlikely that we crack the treasury at this point. We're real deep into this scene.
Yeah. But more importantly, it is that extra key item check. And also, technically, it's 2 other character checks, but given that Penguinator's going for the eggs, I don't think he's interested in anything other than edges.
I heard we liked Edge. Dancing Dolls, another blank. The question is starting to be asked, is the moon horrendously haunted, like 100%? 100% bad times.
I mean, it's not 100% bad times. We do have the required spot there.
100% bad times. But we're going to check the Pale Dim spot first.
Yeah. You're up here. You might as well do the full clear before you come back down. Again, in this race, you don't have to get first. You just don't want to be last.
Yeah. And from what I know about Zilch and Starman, I know Starman does love doing D-Machines. I don't know if he chose to do D-Machines this run, but I know that he greatly enjoys that particular grind. Zilch is pretty flexible, so we'll kind of see how that goes. A fairly straightforward but fast boss here, but we do have that tele-anchor. We've got Dr. Luggage and Valnab here at the Pale Dim altar, so this should go in a pretty straightforward manner.
Indeed. It will be a little long depending on how much of their comedic antics they get up to, but this is not a scary fight for Infidious' party by any stretch.
Yeah, Penguinator going to continue cracking eggs here. I'm not sure how deep he's going to go with this, but he is putting on some levels. Rosa gets life 2 here, so Rosa's got good levels at this point in time. It is just going to be a matter of, getting some safety, making sure he feels comfortable with just drink some wines and get the Threemus fight over with fight, which means hitting some multipliers on those edges. Nuke out from Infinius ends the first half of the fight in quick order here, and we're going to get to the second half of the fight now. We do get those counter gases, which can put characters to sleep, but with these levels, probably not going to happen.
Yeah, I imagine Penguinator is probably going... As I say that, Penguinator looks at those lower mid-40s.
I mean, with this party, lower mid-40s is plenty. Like, you don't need much more than that. Like, he might be banking on either Moon or Giant giving him just another shot in the arm of experience to kind of call it a day, so he's just done with Sirens here. He's going to go Drain Spear the heck out of Feymarch. Thank you, X Pancraz. That is probably what's about to happen. With these extra levels, those Drain Spears will hit for probably in the near upper 3k range. Infinius has cleaned up this altar, and there it is! That's what he's looking for! Give that man some music. Give... Infinius, Twin Harp in hand. We're not going to check Cave Bahamut. We're not going to raid that treasury. Memes are over. Bring on the music. Let's get out of here.
What, you're saying music isn't a meme?
Music is the best meme.
That's fair. Infinius is our first on-screen runner in Go mode.
Yeah, we know that Penguinator is going to go through this Feymarch, and this Feymarch has got a lot of nothing here. So he's not going to be terribly happy about that. Infinius is just like, yo, I got this harp. I'm good. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm going to have to go back to the moon, so I'm just going to take my whale here. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that I'm poisoned to get some damage on my party. It's not going to be enough to take this Yang down to 1 health, but, you know, we can dream.
You got to take what you can get. But it's going to be interesting to see because if Zyrak decides to... Zyrak's already done the Feymarch bosses, so he'll likely be getting... Oh, I guess it depends how long the Golbez fight takes. But if the Earth Crystal leads to something, Zyrak might have the advantage over Penguinator right now.
Yeah, it's real interesting because he might just stay on the Earth and chase it, like... not intending to grind yet. I mean, he's got 10 key items, so whatever grind he chooses will be very fast. He is going to need to get his casters up to Nuke and White, so he's going to have to kind of decide whether he wants to grab a bunch of Sirens or if he does want to do a short D-Machine hop before doing the Giant of Babel. Both make a lot of sense.
And especially because you do raise the good point. I hadn't been paying super close attention to Zyrak's party. I also don't know whether or not he's left any characters out there for slingshotting purposes.
He really hasn't. He's been real thorough about character checking and just ditching, so he's probably very happy with this party and very happy with probably just doing whatever he needs to get them online, be it Steel Sirens or D-Machines.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna sit through some scripting here for Infinius. We're gonna see some elemental spells here. Like, holy heck, this party have a lot of health. Penguinator is going to berserk up an edge here to try and speed his way through this fight. Going to try and kill off Attila here, too. Attila's going to have to hit himself with a virus. Zyrak finishing this first half of tower, and I guess it's time for me to can it, because we got to get some music on. Considering the number of Dragonites that Infinius has slain in this seed, yeah, the Pokemon battle music is pretty fitting here.
Pity really isn't in the party because, like, that's the closest thing we have to a Pokemon trainer.
And it looks like the Mega Sisters are... they're just in the wrong place at the wrong time right now. As Yang looks at Mindy and just takes her out instantly. Penguinator is donezo with Yan. Feymarch finds a whole pile of nothing and goes right to the moon. So he is now on the moon, and Zyrak is chasing the Earth Crystal. He's going to give us a look at... He's going to at least give us a look at the boss up here and the item up here, but we'll see if he's...
Yeah, because we do know that if Penguinator goes and does the Pale Dim Altar, that is the Twin Harp, which is Go mode. He also is up here because he definitely wants to do that Crystal Sword Altar, which is one of the required objectives. But we still don't know where that Legend Sword is. That is still loose, and if the Earth Crystal leads to that, this could turn on ahead a little bit.
Yeah, it basically means that everyone's going to be doing the giant. I don't really see a world where we don't at that point. Infinius, though, has finished his heart music, crystal in hand. We gotta get ourselves on up to the moon, but Infinius is in full go mode, and dare I say it, does not need to grind anymore.
Yeah, chat, of course, is rife with questions about where the potential Asciatum could be. Always going, well, it could be a cheeky D-Mist, which, well, we'll find one of those spots very shortly.
Absolutely. Speaking of cheeky D-Mist, there it is at the Magus Sister spot.
Oh my gosh.
Who would have thunk it? The Earth Crystal is a double check here. Zyrak with decent levels should plow through this fairly healthy spot, while of course Edge is like, you know, I got darts. I got darts for days. You want this Drain Spear? I got this Drain Spear.
I will die laughing if the Legend Sword is not at the Kion spot here, but at the D-Mist Kion spot.
I mean, the only other place Legend Sword could be would be either Baron's basement, which we haven't checked, or the Mother of All Bombs could be hanging on to it, which would be real interesting. But Zyrak drops the Mist Dragon here real quick.
Yeah, we've basically seen everything else, haven't we?
We have, between these three runners. They've really split up the game here. As Infinius starts the long hike down to the bottom of the moon, where we know who's at the bottom of the moon. Who's at the bottom of the moon, anyway?
Starts with a Z. Yeah, it's that guy from Power Rangers, Lord Zed.
I mean, if it starts with a Z, is it Canadian? Are we gonna find something Canadian down there?
Well, no. We don't randomize who is at the final boss spot. Threemus is terrifying, so there won't be an Ogopogo there, thank goodness. However, it's kind of boring just to leave Threemus alone, so... Wait, I'm seeing a lot of questions in chat, like flags with Z on them.
I think everybody wants to know what I had for dinner.
Ah, what did you have for dinner?
We made chicken marsala tonight. But no, in all seriousness, I know that's not what everybody's asking. Although dinner was really good. I think they're asking the much more important question with those flags, which is, of course, most importantly, what butt are we going to butt to butt? Butt.
So, thanks to the tireless work of the team, especially Boardface and Skullakitty, we have, 450 different sprites that Threemus could be taking on tonight. And we're about to find out which one of those it is as Infinius works his way down the final floor of the lunar subterrane.
With the Fist of God in his party, level 64 Yang. Zyrak is going to give us a look here, and the Earth Crystal is a Sand Ruby. If you want a cane, you can get a cane, but at this point, I don't think we do.
Yeah, a cane's not an edge.
I mean, no, and that's half the checks in the Earth Crystal. What's the other half? This is a real moment of truth for Zyrak here. He could be in a lot of trouble if this isn't the Legend Sword.
It's a pass.
This means Baron Basement needs to get done right now. There's no world in which he cannot do Baron Basement immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately flies to Baron. Yeah, this is a Baron Basement check for sure. Penguinator doing Moon the upfront way, which was what was required Wyvern Altar first, then bottom to top. No shock there. He's going to be a little while though. But the thing is, Penguinator's going to be a little while before he gets his hands on the Twin Harp that we know is up there at the top of the moon. And our final boss here is.
We are going to butt some butts.
I did not know that this was the boss, everybody, but I love it anyway.
That is incredible. Zyrek finds Plague Down on the Baron Throne.
Yeah, this should be pretty straightforward. You're probably going to have to kill a couple characters a couple times just to make sure he hits the DPS requirement here, but he should be able to give us this at this point. On the bottom, Infinius is going to set up by end up getting the counter nuke for the first slow cast onto Tella, which is perfect. Gonna Zerk the boys and gonna start reflecting nukes and whites onto Threemus here to do the damage here, and I guess gonna take some big bangs. I don't know. I've got 6,000 health on Yang. I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, and even if you didn't have 6,000 health on Yang, you've got, what, 2,300 on your Black Mage, which is just an absurd number for a Palom.
And Avenger's gonna get some use there. We got a darted Avenger here. The only thing is that we don't really have Yang or Edge Berserk. I know that were wines for sale. I don't remember. I don't know if I saw wines or not.
I don't recall.
I also don't recall. So we're gonna see some Cure 2s thrown here for safety's sake here. So basically, I think this is a real setup for just an honest reflect finish. Zyrek gets nothing. Zyrek gets a white shirt.
Oof. So it is that Mother of all bombs that is our final key item.
So Mom Bomb is parked on our Legend Sword, and the Harp is at the Pale Dim spot. So Moon required.
Yeah, that.
Turning the meta on its head. There's only 2 items up there, and you wanted both of them.
Right? Like, that's not what you expect from this particular flag set.
On the flip side of the coin here, we've got a little bit of trouble here. Black Hole comes out. Needs to sort of continue setting up for Reflect here, but doesn't want to put the wall up yet before casting this Cure 4 on the 3 remaining party members. It's likely that the wall should go here on Yang, most likely, so this should probably be a Starveil turn. Delaying is probably not helping the cause any here, because that's going to force out a Shake. So there's the Starveil, here's the nuke coming out. He recovers the fight really well, because Cure 4 on 3 characters is, of course, does absurd amounts of healing, and it's healing for like 3k, which is pretty darn fantastic here. So there's the nuke for 7k. I think we've got a white coming out here as well. We're gonna see some healing here thrown out by Yang.
Yeah, Zyrek now taking on that Mother of all bombs, which we know has to be the Legend Sword. I think, yeah, it has to be exactly the Legend Sword.
But
does a reset, unfortunately.
I mean, was getting absolutely plastered there, so just can't get through it as that Mom Bomb's hitting real hard. Virus kills the Palom again as the virus goes off. So this fight not exactly going according to plan here. Things getting a little bit tense. Does need to get this Cure 4 off here before the next Big Bang comes out. Try to keep Palom in one piece here, and then set up a Reflect. So there's the Cure 4.
Yeah,
Here's the Veil, and he's going to try and recover this one more time.
Yeah, that was some pretty heads up on recovery there.
There's the Shake, so we're set now. Nuke comes out, White is channeling, has the cursor here on Yang, so set up to go. Reflect Nuke doing 7,000 damage here. Fight still going. White comes out now. So fires that off. That's going to get reflected, and it's going to hit for solid 7,400 damage, and that's it. Party's over, everybody. Good. Infidious is done and through, and punches his ticket to the top 32.
GG's. What a finish. What a race.
And for those of you, if you're not watching the other stream as well, just so you're aware, that is the first place time at 1 hour 16 and 44 seconds. Bound for the moon and through, Infidious plays this seed through D-Machines to dumpsters as he just thrashes through it real efficiently.
Yeah, in the seed, the moon was in fact the play. So, but Infidious making the gamble to get his grind out of the way, get onto the moon and clean it up, paid dividends. And I believe he is now here. Congratulations.
Thank you. Oh my god. What a scene.
So you just came out and you just beat 4 of some of the biggest names in free enterprise in a 5-way race on the big stage here. You know that there is over 250 people watching right now. You sound excited.
Oh, you have no idea. Like, just know. So coming into this, so my math brain was telling me, oh, you've got 8% of making table. My self-depreciating brain said, but these runners are really good. Like, it's more like 60 or 50% chance I make it to tables. But so, I'm not, once I put in my dot done, I think you wouldn't notice, but I basically did a fist pump because that did feel real good. And I actually feel sorry for the rest of the runners because once you see the spoiler log, I won't spoil where Legend Sword is, but it's a fun spot.
So, Zyrak has just pulled the Legend Sword on our stream. At this point, I think between the 3 of you, we have seen every single key item get pulled.
Yeah, who cares about Underground anyway? I mean, that's totally not required.
Underground is absolutely a sucker's game. Hook route is too hard. You shouldn't do it. Penguinator was Underground, by the way, on the hook route in like 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, no, that's fair. Like, I expect nothing less from Penguinator, but my fear is that, well, since I knew that Moon was super hard required, to me it just made perfect sense to just do that. Since I knew that the Teller was there in Mysidia, and also Yang, I get to slingshot Yang up to obscene levels and hit the points, and yeah, just go to town. Although that CPU, oh my god.
You tried to rush it, and you have to remember 65,000 hit points on the back orb is just a ton.
Yeah, it was, although I'm surprised my second attempt went as well as it did. I don't know, I think my first attempt was correct. It was just some missed execution. I needed to Zerk up. I think I need to do some planning beforehand before I actually committed to the Meteors. But I don't know, that was a really rude one. Especially considering that none of my characters were back row. Or none of my melee fighters rather were back row, so
yeah, and
it made for a very painful fight.
Yeah, and your Yang was in the back row the first time, so doing half damage as well, so that wasn't probably helping the cause terribly much.
Yeah, as soon as I noticed that, it's like, oh, that shouldn't punish me too. Oh wait, CPU, never mind. That's going to punish me a lot. At least I got, I think I reset basically because I couldn't get my Rosa, because Rosa got hit by the Globe 99. I couldn't get the Rosa up before because of the Mesa hitting her every turn.
Yeah, I mean, of all the things, I mean, that was the one mistake you basically made this entire seed. I mean, going and just getting your grind immediately, doing D-Machines instantly, ended up being really smart, because you know where Sirens were for sale?
They weren't?
Absolutely not. If you wanted them, you had to take time with Edge to get them. Penguinator got a handful of them. Zyrak did not, but there were no Sirens in this seed otherwise.
Oh, wow. I did not, obviously I did not realize that. Like, I I did basically do the cheeky moon check just to see if there are any Barker swines. Yeah, it was like some life potions. Like, great, that's what I kind of needed.
Yeah, you weren't going to be getting them anyway because they were underground. Penguinator is playing his harp right now, so he is going to give us the Harper prize and work his way through this now.
Yeah, but neither of the other runners on our side have gone anywhere near the giant yet.
Really? Do they not even peek the bosses at least? Because I would have, like, to me, like, basic rule of running this is like, do your objectives. As soon as I saw that darkness, I thought that was the easiest thing to do first.
Yeah.
So I saw no reason to deviate from that.
It is
check
a
freebies, check your objectives. I think the one freebie I didn't check which I kind of regret, was Rat Tail, but that's yeah, it ended up being Baron Key. Which was kind of a miss. I could see how it could distract other runners from going other routes. Did we find Pass, by the way?
yes.
Top of the Tower of Zot had Demist at the Mega Sister spot, which turned into the Pass.
What? Groundfly, why?
This seed was real good. This seed had some spice behind it, certainly.
Groundfly, why? But yeah, so that pass being there basically influenced my decision to basically full clear Moon once I got there. Since I didn't have a pass at all, I figured I don't want to come back here another time to search for key. Let's just do all the checks here, and then go back to Earth when I'm all done basically. So yeah, it was yeah, it was a very interesting scene in that regards. Then.
Yeah, absolutely. In the interim, Zyrak has forged their Protect Rings and Zeus Gauntlets for sale if you forge. Penguinator, with 2 objectives down, is headed up and up onto the big whale. So it looks like he's summoning the giant now, so he's about to hit the giant. I think Zyrak is playing for no giant. Zyrak is playing for other checks. He's going into the tower now.
I think Zyrak already did the tower. He's playing for sirens.
He's gonna get them here then. So yeah, this will be where sirens are, be in this box right here for him. Okay, makes sense.
Especially with only the Porum and the Edge alive.
Oh, who takes a Porum in this scene? Anyway, you had a Rosa start. Like, who would take a Porum?
Someone who's looking for Snap, Grind, Reflect, Kill, like looking to just fire off whites and nukes to finish the seed.
I mean, that's fair. So,
alternatively, someone who wants to get Twin Cast early.
Oh yeah, that's true. I actually didn't consider that at all. But to be fair, so basically my early routing was basically predicated on finding the edge at ordeals. I think because that Dancing Treasure ended up having the goods for Murasame. That was really nice. So then also I think I found a long at some point as well. So that enabled me to just mow down all those early boss fights pretty easily.
Yeah, I think it was Murasame was located in DMC, and then you had the longsword was in Antlion's Cave.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. Okay, so while I was watching, I noticed a question for chat why I didn't do Zerk strat, I suppose, given I had 6k HP Yang and an edge. The actual answer was I had the Barker Swine, so I was actually going to do a hybrid strats. So you can sort me do for a couple of powers, darting a couple of weapons, which I know like that uses Avenger. Like who needs Avenger anyway? But about a minute into it, it occurred to me, it's like, hang on, I have no source of Berserk except for my Rosa. I think I'm better off trying to not tip and going for just pure reflex at that point. Like I think I did enough with the darts and the powers to get a fair bit of the way there as it is, and slowly converted Yang into a chemist.
Yeah, that ended up making a lot of sense when we kind of saw the transition that it ended up making for a very clean fight. That's basically the speedrun kill is fling a bunch of darts and then reflect 3 whites to get the kill.
Okay, I didn't realize that. That's neat.
Yeah, it's a really neat strategy, and it ends up being, it ends up basically being predicated on getting some hits in with your cane and darts with edge. But in this instance, it also ends up working out pretty well on that front as well for the speedrun in the final fight in this as well.
Yeah, cool. Do you have any other questions?
No, I think we should let the runners enjoy the thrilling conclusion of this race. Everybody is still going here. Penguinator's still going. Zyrak is cracking some eggs, and Penguinator is here doing CPU. So we're getting close to the end here.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for restreaming. Especially thank you for the admins for being able to schedule things in such a way that I could actually get to participate in this, because obviously it's kind of rough trying to schedule someone that's in Australia with everyone else in the US, so made for some really rough times. Thank you, Demmer and Lee, for commentary. Thank you, Pancraz and Chasman for tracking, and Ground Flyer. Anyway, thanks everyone. I'm gonna head off.
Take care, Infidious, and congratulations again.
Cheers, thanks.
And while we were wrapping up with Infidious, Penguinator takes out his orbs. As it looks like Zyrak is headed up to the giant shortly as well.
Absolutely, it's nearly the end of the siege. Zyrak does need some experience, though, I think, so we'll see how he decides to pick it up here. Penguinator is saved his game, headed back up, gonna find that this second boss is awaiting him. The last thing between him and Go is, as we saw before, Octomom. Should be pretty straightforward. Gonna hit some fight commands, gonna fling some darts.
Now, Octomammoth, of course, being a scary fast boss, but as it takes hits, you'll notice the arms disappearing, and as the arms disappear, it slows down. Yes, that was necessary.
Also doing some equipment shenanigans there, like taking off the second ninja sword while the berserk is casting, so getting full agility as well as full damage here from the berserk edge in the back. So Penguinator's through the giant. Now he is in I have my crystal go mode, so he's got to get back up to the moon to finish this off.
Yeah, so this is going to be an interesting one. Zyrak going for the reflected float strats, which is always exciting for me to see. If you reflect float onto one of the small orbs, it starts floating, which means you can cast Quake and not worry about hitting the attacker and dealing with the Globe 199s.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to hit on the defender though. Like it's got to hit on the attacker, because you need to keep the attacker alive. It's only got a 1 in 3 chance of working out for you there, but it works out for Zyrak. So that attacker's just gonna sit there and fire masers, but Quake is a big boost in DPS on this fight.
Indeed, especially because the CPU main node does keep a reflected wall up, which means that direct cast spells are bit rough to try and cast on it. Luckily, Quake does not get reflected, so you can just throw those out for that extra 4K around.
Yeah, Penguinator here, hour 31 at the top of the moon with the crystal in hand, headed to the bottom, levels in hand, ready to rock. So he's going to go ahead and kick some butts in the butts. While Zyrak is working his way through this orb. Again, having Quake online for this is really good for your damage output, just because it's just like another 4,000 damage a cast at this point, which is just real nice. So yeah, looking like he's got a pretty straightforward setup here. Rosa has an Artemis bow and some arrows, so doing about 1,000 damage a shot. Edge is swinging for about 1,300 or so. So we're doing about 5,000 to 6,000 damage a cycle here, so it should take about 10 of these cycles total to finish this fight off. Party's pretty well healed as well from the Forum having healing magic.
Indeed. This is never going to be one of the fastest fights in the game, but it is very stable and very safe at this point.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a kill. It's just going to take a hot minute because, yeah, there's no way to really increase your damage output here. Edge for Penguinator. He's setting up his party. His party's got some serious levels. Who knew Clearing Giant would put even this kind of a party without doing any D machines? Just a handful of sirens in the mid 50s to low 60s.
Yep.
Yeah, Penguinator finishing the long hike, leaves a safety save, and he is almost to the bottom. And in his mind, hopefully almost done. Zyrak checking his arrows on Rosa. He's got 4. Checking that mana. He's got 107 left on Palom, so 3 more Quake casts here.
As Penguinator is pulling the big bad Threemus himself.
Yeah, gonna reflect off this, ended up reflecting a Cure Force, so, lose a little bit of damage on the back orb here, but just still working his way through. Last Quake. Mana running a little thin here.
Does not appear to have any ethers on hand either.
Yeah, it's going to be up to Edge here to finish the job for Zyrak. Again, shouldn't be a problem. It's just going to be slow.
Yeah.
Nope, never mind. We're
there
good.
It goes.
Mission completed. Big orb down, small orb up.
Penguinator gets the first Berserk up. Looks to be passing a Masamune around as the Berserks come out in a neat little trick where you can preserve the status if you close out of the menu and you Berserk.
Yep, you can maintain your Zerking status with full damage with only the one weapon. So yeah, just pass the Hanzo Steel around, get those Zerks going. Gonna throw a wall on Rosa here for some safety. Doesn't want to get her counter nuked and maybe wants even tossing a white or two. This one Edge in the front who does not have any Hanzo Steel is going to be flinging Dream Spears for 5k a pop.
And the other ones are swinging for just shy of 4.
This DPS on this is beautiful.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want to see out of a Berserk fight.
Yep, unequips the Artemis bow here, so it gets the additional agility on Rosa just to make sure she's also RA1, and then now is going to get her full casting stat as well, so that's fantastic. This should heal for a goodly amount. Yeah, 14 and 1800, not bad at all. So yeah, this should be fairly academic, it looks like here. If we're doing about 10k a cycle, we should get to the we should see the skip of we should see the skip to phase 2 before Big Bang number 2 comes out. Zyrak is wrapping up the moon right now, or wrapping up the giant right now. Second boss on hand is Octomom. He's hitting pretty hard now with his edge. He's got his levels online as well without doing any sort of grinding either.
Yeah, and of the two fights here, Octomom is going to be a much faster and much more straightforward fight. You can berserk up, you can throw out spells to your heart's content. The only thing you really need to worry about is the fact, or you just don't need to worry at all.
Or you cast Cure, or you cast Lit 3 and just obliterate the octopus with the lightning from the sky, and make quick work of it. So this is going to give Zyrak his crystal around 138. Penguinator is slowly yet surely coming to the close of this fight here. Wants to parry with Rosa just so we can get another dart out with Edge before having to cast Cure 4. Shouldn't be a big deal here. I mean, we knew we definitely hit the phase skip here. I'm gonna play it safe and gonna Cure 3 Rosa before hitting the Cure 4, just to make sure that everything is a-okay.
Mm-hmm. And the berserking doing a fair bit. Here come the rocks.
And does nothing. Hits the bottom edge, but that's no big deal here. Cure 3 out on Rosa. Gonna just channel the swag white here just in case. One more swing.
And there it is.
That's that for that. Penguinator's through, and we know Penguinator's through to the next round of the tournament because Zyrak is just landing at Toroya now to use the pass. So GG to Penguinator. His finish is 3rd place. In the interim on the other stream, Zilch had already finished. So Penguinator gonna finish in 3rd place here. Hour 38 and 34 seconds looks to be the official time. And he will be moving on to our round of 32, probably much to the dismay of the other runners.
Yeah. Every single one of the runners featured here tonight is a powerhouse. Though they didn't make it straight all the way to the final round of the tournament. Most of them will now, but they've all gone 3-0 in the Swiss round and 2-1 in the group stages before that, which is no easy feat.
Yeah, no, that is a serious task for sure. It sounds like the Penguinator is here himself. So, well, the title defense is still on. Congratulations on surviving tonight.
Thank you. I think my mic's working. I was having trouble connecting at first.
You
Yeah,
sound fantastic.
we can hear you just fine.
Cool.
So, Moon was hard required that seed. What do you have to say about that?
So I didn't quite catch on the restream. Was Legend at Bahamut?
Legend was in Cave Bahamut behind
Okay.
Bomb.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, I wanted to go to the moon, but juicy checks underground. The main thing was the Dark Imps being at summons. I was worried that being a basically free boss if you had the right party and the right items. I was worried that if that was a go mode item, then skipping that could be disastrous. And especially with the giant being an objective, it's both getting to go mode and getting to go mode quickly. Because if you do pop both the legend and the twin harps, you get to skip during the giant, which saves you, at least 5 minutes probably, depending on the bosses. And if it's CPO elements, probably even longer.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the big big question I personally had was you had Tella and you ditched Tella on the mountain. for another edge and then ended up picking him back up at Dwarf Castle. What was sort of the mindset there of getting rid of Tello with the Darkness Crystal already in hand?
I generally don't go for the D machines on these flags. I feel you can get sirens, especially if you have edge. You don't really need to do the full grind. I realize here it was definitely a possibility, and probably some of the other runners did. But I was basically committing not to doing D machine. Tella doesn't get a whole lot of use, but then later on, it did make sure I had warp, although Palom would have learned warp anyway from finishing the dwarf bosses. But I was actually kind of mindful of the Dark Imps, because Tella can cast Stone to take care of those, and I wanted to make sure I could take care of those just in case it had something.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, honestly. Zyrek is trying to set up the reflect kill here on Zeromus, by the way, but his party got Big Bang basically instantly and just took a second, leaving his party with just Rosa Cure 3ing, so this might be a wipe for Zyrek. So yeah, so without the D machine, only one runner did D machines. I'm sure you can guess which one it was.
Starts with an I and ends in Infinius.
Yeah, it starts with an I and ends in an hour and 16 minutes. So when D machines to Moon is the right play, like, it's really rarely the right play, but when it's the right play, it's the right play.
Yeah, while you were going underground, Infinius was studying the D machine.
Yeah,
Although
I tend not to want to do it on these flags without at least, without 10 key items, and setting the slingshot, typically you're not even really prepared for that, so it tends to be less efficient, I think.
yeah, that is a very fair point, honestly.
Yeah.
What is very efficient though is using like 40 Drain Spears this seed.
Yeah, turns out Drain Spears are pretty good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Do love me a good Drain Spear here. Zyrek trying to stabilize this fight. I think he just channeled white on his own Rosa with Black Hole going off. I think he's about to wipe. Oh no, that was a life too. That's fine. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, brings back the Palom.
At full health at least, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna throw out the Cure 3 and the Star Veil, so trying to get these two reflectors back running.
Yeah, so what did you think? We've already talked about, the choice of taking versus leaving versus taking Tella, but what did you think of the rest of the characters you saw? And what was, like, 3 edges is definitely a bunch, especially when you only have, like, 1 or 2 decent swords between them.
Yeah, so the other characters, as it turns out, other than Edge, were not Edge, so I didn't really want any of them. Because Edge can throw Drain Spears, it doesn't really matter if you have weapons for him. Drain Spears, you can take a naked Edge, you can take off his equipment, sell it for fun, and he can just start Drain Spears and do a bunch of damage. So in that scenario, I'll just take a bunch of Edges. I was kind of hoping for Cecil since we had Crystal Swords. I kept Edward for a little bit in case of an early spoon, but it became apparent that starting Drain Spears was probably the optimal party in terms of DPS, so that's what I went with.
Mm-hmm. And it definitely showed as you Drain Speared your way through the entire moon, basically.
Yeah, and then the Masamune did come up, so I tried to use that a little bit to consider on Drain Spears. At first, you can't afford quite that many, and then you don't want to keep going back constantly to buy more. I'm sure that shopkeeper loves me, but it does take time to go visit him constantly. So I tried to get used to the Masamune too with Berserk, and I even did a little bit of Berserk glitching to get that equipped on 2 people at once, even though there's only one of them.
Yeah, that was really neat. I saw that during the run. That was actually another really cool sort of strategy of lining up the Berserk and then changing your equipment while Berserk was casting to sort of set yourself up to get double get double duty out of it. And then even then on the Zeromus fight, it was like, well, Third Edge has got to throw darts, but Zyrak looks like he has recovered this fight nicely here, gets one last reflective nuke, and of course, in the interim, he wraps up this fight.
Yeah, Zyrak is going to be our fourth and final runner from this race, advancing on to the table stage with an official time of 1 hour, 46 minutes, and 3 seconds. Unfortunately, that does mean It's a Starman will not be joining these runners. At least not from this race. There is one other race for Starman and all of the 2-in-1 runners from the Magma Group Swiss round. And speaking of, I believe that is a Zyrak.
Hello. I'm glad we're on 15-minute delay because I can actually talk now.
So how are you feeling after that?
I felt great right up until Earth Crystal Demist didn't turn into an objective. And then I felt really, 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 really bad. And then I felt even worse when people were finishing when I was going to Zeromus. And then Porum dying on Octobam, so she didn't get the experience to get to White, so I only had 2 casters. Yeah, my heart was basically in my mouth from then until the seat was over.
Mm-hmm. So the big story of this seed seems to be, did you follow the hook or did you take the D money and run? What was your thought process leading you to be like, I'm just gonna go underground, check out what's there, rather than jumping on the Darkness Crystal?
So I was getting all set up to go do D machines. When I ran up to check the Moon character and check the Evelyn shop and all that, I was getting ready to go do D machines. And then what got me to talk myself out of it was, number one, that we had crystal swords available, so checking for a Cecil sort of tempted me, number one. And then number two, I realized I think I was at 6 key items already. So I was like, there's a really good chance between Dwarf Castle and the relative freebies and I can get to 10 and potentially cut a D machine grind in half. And then when that happened, I just sort of started following the chains. And when nobody finished, honestly, at like 50 minutes, an hour, I just thought, okay, the objectives are probably, because I assumed everybody was doing D machines, and it turns out that was not true. So I figured there's got to be at least 1 or 2 people who did D machines and aren't finished. So the progression has to be semi-buried somewhere. So that's why I felt really good doing all those chains. And then when they just ended with nothing, not a good feeling.
Mm-hmm. But, you did do a really good job of checking everything once you got underground. And, of course, oh gosh, that Z fight was a heart-wrencher.
Yeah. I almost reset after that first big bang, but I decided to stick it out. Couple of things I could have done to make it go a little bit better, but yeah, I'm happy that I was able to get through that.
Mm-hmm. Demi, do you have any questions?
No, I just want to say congratulations, Zyrak, on hanging in there, and it doesn't matter if you get in by an hour, if you sneak in by a runner. So we'll be seeing you in the top 32 again. Another runner. Probably everybody does not want to see there, but there was a lot of good runners that were going to make it through.
Right, yeah, you're not kidding. I mean, my goal when I signed up for the tournament was to try and make table flags. My last few free enterprise tournaments, I've been right on the bubble and just haven't gotten in. So to actually break through and get into the playoffs feels great. And yeah, I'm just gonna free roll it and see if we can upset some people.
Indeed. And of course, best of luck to all 4 of our runners moving on to the table. I hear those table flags are interesting.
Yeah, indeed. They're definitely a different animal for sure. Yeah, so I just wanted to really quickly say thank you to both of you and Demarin for doing the commentary and for all the Restream staff for helping out with the play-ins today. I can't wait to watch it back. Thanks again.
All right. Well, thank you. So, Leggy, do you have anything else to say before we wrap this party up tonight? Because this one was, for what looked like it was going to be a pretty straightforward race, was certainly divergent and all over the building, and was a lot of fun to commentate.
Nothing other than do look forward to the second half of our play-in races coming up soon. We'll be doing the 2-in-1 round for both the Hook and the Magma group very soon, and those races are going to be... There is going to be a lot of runners and very few things for people to get in, so it will be exciting. Thank you again to all of the commentary crew tonight. We also have Pankraz, Chazman, and Groundflyer in the background making everything work. And of course, thank you so much, Demarine. You are always a pleasure to commentate with.
Yeah, absolutely. You too, Leggy. That was an absolute blast. Just to keep in mind, everybody, keep Sunday night open, 8 p.m. Sunday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Will be Hook play-in number 2. 20-some runners enter, 1 runner leaves with a spot in the top 32. That should be an absolute trip. I highly recommend coming out for that. Magma 2 is being scheduled at this point in time. And alas, Starman, who did not make it through, will be part of that scheduling. So expect to see that sometime next week. We'll keep everybody apprised. Join the Discord, hang out with us. That'd be fantastic. But for now, we're gonna head over and we're gonna raid Indoor Wa, who's doing some practice, who's getting some free enterprise time in as well. So on behalf of the Restream team, on behalf of the entirety of the Free Enterprise organizational team, Restream team, and the workshop helpers, I am Demarine 2. Thank you again to Leggy Starscreen, my co-commentator, Groundflyer, handling the Restream, X Pankraz, and Chazman on the trackers. Thank you as well, and we shall see you all again soon.